Greetings and salutations, knowledge seekers, and welcome to this video. Today, I want to talk to you about the meaning of life and how that is affected by the latest technological developments, particularly concerning AI. So I'm going to use an example that I used in my latest video. I talked about the purchase of the game development company EA by Saudi Arabia. In my previous video, I put that to the perspective of ethics and how in business there are no real ethics. And when it comes to money, people are much more inclined to overlook their personal opinions and certain grievances. If you want to check that one out, you can find it in my channel. But I think that the deal is quite layered and it has quite significant ramifications in other aspects of life, and it provides life lessons in more than one area. So let me tell you what I mean exactly by that, right? So one of the reasons why Saudi Arabia bought this game developer is because of the advancement of AI and what it's going to do to both game development and to the way we live our lives. So first, when it comes to game development, very briefly, the more you can automate things, the cheaper a project becomes, right? So if you can use AI instead of actual programmers, you don't have to pay the AI. So your total budget for development becomes lower, right? And that's a trend that it's apparent not just in game development, but in many other industries, in many other companies. For instance, there's a Swedish financial service provider called Klarna. Those guys recently went public, so they listed on the New York Stock Exchange. And they've openly admitted that before they had 5,000 employees and now they have 3,000, and those 3,000 can do the work that before 5,000 did, right? And in 2025, there's been about 10,000 people, at least that's the estimate. 10,000 people that have been fired because of the advancement of AI, and those jobs are never returning, right? So that's kind of the vision of where our corporate overlords are imagining the world. A lot more computers doing the work that before humans did. Kind of the same thing that happened in the, I don't know, 70s, 80s, 90s, where manufacturing jobs disappeared because they got replaced by automation, or they got replaced by cheap labor in various locations around the world in developing countries. So the same kind of process is expected to occur in white-collar jobs now. So people like me that went to university and felt that they were so much smarter than everybody else, we are now also on the chopping block, and that makes us uneasy, right? That's part of it. But the second aspect of it is that, AI is a game developer. Since people are going to have more free time, presumably, thanks to automation, thanks to AI helping us with our work, we're going to have more time to play games. And I personally work at a game development company. I have nothing against people escaping from their reality with the help of games. I think this kind of escapism is present and prevalent in our society, and it has been the case for many years, millennia really. People used to do it with alcohol and other kind of drugs before, and we're continuing to do it now. But just in our modern day society, we have way more different means to achieve the same kind of feeling of escaping reality, right? Because that's what drugs do. Drugs, everybody that has taken them takes them not because of the health benefits that they have, but because of the sensation that they provide to us, this feeling of relief, this feeling that, life is better than what it actually is, this escapism from reality that helps us sometimes cope with the suffering of our existence, right? And this is what games do in a way. It's a different world in which you enter, and you can communicate with other people, like-minded individuals, and there are also rewards along the way, right? There's a clear neat progression where you level up and you become better and you acquire resources, and then it kind of fits into the narrative of how life is supposed to be. Like, you gain experience throughout life, and then you become better and better and better, and you continuously improve, and there are rewards along the way, and there's this natural progression of how things go along. And that makes us feel safe, that makes us feel secure, that makes us feel nice and warm inside, right? And that's why we keep coming back to this type of sensation. And then it also creates a separate type of feeling. Um, you can control your environment, like in a game for the most part, right? As long as you understand how the game functions, you can manipulate it to your advantage. So challenges that you cannot overcome in life do not exist in a game, right? Your car doesn't break down on the way to the, I don't know, to the pimp house in GTA, right? Or when you are driving around the streets of Los Angeles and you're running over people, your car doesn't break down in that kind of instance. Or when you're driving in a tank in Battlefield and it actually blows up, all of a sudden you spawn in another location, right? It's not real, but it kind of gives you the perception, the illusion that it's real. And so these are the two things that the billionaire owners of EA now wants us to kind of understand, are implying this is their vision for the future of society. They're gonna take away some of our jobs and gonna give them to machines because that's gonna allow them to make more money. And then B, once they do that, they want us to, give back. I don't know, I guess our universal income or whatever that we're gonna get from the government for not working, and spend time escaping from our pathetic, sad reality by playing video games. Right? That's the fantasy of the public investment fund of Saudi Arabia, that the investment vehicle that bought EA. And to that, I think we as a civilization need to stand up and respond in a clear manner, right? We need to take a stand basically against this kind of stupidity, because we are humans as a species have been underestimated by our rulers for quite a while. I know that some people are religious, but religion has been a mechanism to control the masses for a while. And now entertainment is kind of fulfilling the gap, right? Or filling that gap, sorry. Since we're no longer religious, we don't believe in a magical being in the sky that judges us and is supposed to tell us how we're supposed to feel about things. Now the currency is entertainment, and it's instant gratification. You want to be entertained. You want to be entertained at all time. You want to feel like the boredom that you're supposed to be experiencing, that's a natural part of life, does not apply to you, right? Your existence is meaningful only if you are entertained, and if you're constantly measuring your happiness, even though you're not really experiencing it ever, but you're constantly measuring it against other people that you see on social media and how much stuff they have, and you're naturally pursuing those kind of things that they have, right? And AI is just going to enhance that process. It's going to make it even worse for us, because then even the people that don't have anything can create this AI generated image that is going to be soon indistinguishable from actual reality, and you're not going to know if the Instagram post that you see is actually real or it isn't, right? So the person that's posting might be sitting in their 2-bedroom apartment, and it all of a sudden looks like they are in this magically beautiful scenery in the middle of Bali. And all this external this external meaning, this kind of validation that we're supposed to get from the outside, um, is something that we either need to overcome, or we need to accept the fact that this is the level on which we are, right? This is the maximum cognitive capacity on which we can operate. We are no longer to rise above any kind of external distractions. Those become so powerful and so enticing that we are completely mesmerized by them, and they become our only sense of purpose and meaning in our existence. That's one option. The second option is to believe that um, a man that has a why can tolerate almost anyhow, right? As long as you have a reason to accept reality as it is, as long as there's something within you that tells you that you can, there's a reason to continue to strive for something better, and to continue to improve, and to continue to pursue your internal motivations, then your environment and your surroundings would be irrelevant, and you will be able to tolerate almost any condition in which you have to live. And I choose to believe that we can go for the second alternative, right? We don't need to escape from reality, and we don't need to do it with drugs. We don't need to do it with alcohol. We don't need to do it with video games. We don't do it in any other way, right? Any type of addiction, gambling, or sex addiction, or whatever the case may be. These are symptoms of the same disease. The disease of me, the disease of I want to feel better about myself, and I want to take the easy way out. But I think we can at least aspire to make the right choice, right? We can aspire to be better. We can aspire to understand that within us there's a power and there's a capacity that outweighs everything that's external to us, and it allows us to overcome any kind of challenge that life presents to us. It doesn't matter if it's this impending boredom that is going to be associated with technological development, right? In fact, it makes it even more important now than ever to be emotionally resilient, because 100 years ago we had, as a civilization, we were in a constant struggle to survive, right? Not necessarily because of so many external threats, but because of, disease was much more common. Childhood mortality was much more common. Medicine wasn't as readily available. People did not have the same kind of income, the same kind of access to information about what type of foods are good and bad, if drinking or smoking or taking drugs are actually good or bad, right? I mean, Coke was part of Coca-Cola. uh, Everybody was taking morphine willy-nilly for all different kinds of ailments, and now we know that that's super addictive and super bad for you, right? So we've been able to overcome these kind of afflictions that we've had throughout our history, and now we're faced with an even bigger challenge. And now it's because we are godless, right? Because we don't believe in religion anymore. It's much more important to look at within ourselves, because religion gives you external validation. It allows you to be part of a community, and it tells you that there's somebody out there that can make the decisions instead of you. Now we don't even have that. We have to make it on our own, or we have to just give up. And I refuse to believe that we are in a state where we're just going to give up. Humans have proven that even though we are very flawed, we are also capable of great things. And we can find it within ourselves to bring meaning to our own lives. And what that is, there's no universal answer, right? That's the unfortunate part. The meaning of life is not something that's applicable to everybody in the same way. So the meaning of your life is different than the meaning of my life. But it's important for us to keep striving to understand what it is, and it changes moment to moment, right? Today I'm mostly focused on what I can do for my family, for my daughter, how I can spend more time with her. Tomorrow maybe I have to focus a little bit more on my work. The third day maybe I have to emphasize more, doing something about my mother, or some of my friends, right, might be in need of something, and they will become the priority, and helping them or alleviating their pain would become my mission, the meaning of my life in that particular instance, right? Or there might be some kind of a deep emotional struggle that we need to go through in order to alleviate the pain of somebody else, right? Let's say that if somebody that we know is suffering from a terrible disease, well, then you need to be stronger, and then you need to be there for that person. Then that's the meaning of your life. Helping them with their suffering becomes your life purpose, right? And it doesn't necessarily have to be something bad. Maybe it's something great, right? Maybe it's sharing an amazing experience with a loved one. Can be your purpose for that particular day. But it's gonna change, it's gonna be something different, and it's gonna be completely up to you to figure it out. There's no universal answer that can be applied to all of us. Life is not, we are, I think we are spoiled. That's what I'm gonna leave you with. We're spoiled because we think we can ask life to bring us meaning, right? And instead we should look at it from the other perspective. Life asks us questions every day. Every moment of our existence is a question that we need to answer. Why are you here? Why are you doing this? And we need to figure out those answers ourselves, and we need to figure them out constantly. And if we do that continuously, perhaps that becomes a habit, and perhaps that becomes a way of existence, our way of life. And we are able to bring meaning to our own existence and our own life. That'll be all for this one. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you find this information useful. And if you do, please like and subscribe.